Hello and welcome back to Veenie Vlog, and today I'd like to do a video about planning a successful convention day and how to make the most out of a con. I suppose the most important thing about this is there really is a lot of things you have to do before you even set foot inside the convention building, and it's up to you. You have to decide what you really want to get out of your convention experience. Are you there to cosplay only? Are you there just to see the panels? Are you just wanting to look at the trader stalls? You want to collect autographs and photographs? Do you want to do all the things? It's up to you, and depending on what you want to do will dictate the way that you should plan your day. For us, we mostly focus on getting autographs and photo shoots. We do a little bit of panels, do a little bit of trader stalls. So I'll run through that sort of planning of how we would plan our day and focus more on that. So first things first, you have to buy your entry ticket. Like, you have to buy your entry ticket. Don't not. You then need to think, if it's not a local show, how are you going to get there? Where are you going to stay? Have a plan B if there's any issues with your transport. So for example, train strikes. Do you have a backup plan? These are all things that you have to consider, and things like that can then increase cost. You need to have a wee bit of a backup fund in case there is any disasters. Sometimes it would be quite good to take out insurance as well. When you're buying tickets, some places allow you to take a ticket insurance out for any unforeseen circumstances, which is quite good. You can do that. It's good to foreplan. Say budget carefully as well. It can be so easy to be like a kid in a candy store and just blow all your money in one day. Just like take all the things. Make sure you have a budget. Make sure you have what we call panic money. We like to do because we know what can happen. And this is just our own emergency fund that you maybe see something or something happens inside the show that you hadn't planned. For example, a wee sneaky selfie with somebody that you hadn't really budgeted in. It's good to have that, so you're not missing out, if you can. It's not essential, but budget good. Budget is the key. We're talking about budgeting, bring cash. Just bring lots of cash. As we talked in another video, sometimes guests can have card machines by the desk, and that's fine, that can work. Sometimes it'll depend on the venue, you might not get a good signal, and then it might not actually accept your transaction, and then you'll miss out and you won't get to meet the guest. Just bring cash with you. That avoids any unnecessary drama, any stress, any worries. Just bring cash. Sometimes venues also have ATMs inside them, but they can quickly run out of cash too. So I wouldn't risk it. Bring money, bring cash. Now, once you've bought your entry ticket, one thing to realise and remember is it's just an entry ticket. It probably won't cover the cost of any guests. If it did, if it was a particular type of ticket for a particular type of show, it will tell you what you get in the price, but mostly it is entry only and you won't get anything additional with this. And that's fine. That's why booking photo shoots and buying for autographs is important to budget, because I've seen some things in some group pages where people have bought their entry ticket, maybe for a weekend entry, £45. I've seen all the guests and thought that they would be able to meet everybody for the entry ticket. No, unfortunately not. You have to still pay for your guests. I also say when you're booking your tickets, any tickets, so either photo shoots, autographs if they do that, or your entry tickets, that you're selecting the correct day. Because most of these shows are multi-day shows. Sometimes it can be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes it's just Saturday, Sunday. I've seen so many times that people have purchased all the photo shoots for one day and then realise that their entry ticket is for another day. And it's such a silly mistake, and it can be so easily rectified or actually avoided just by checking before you book your tickets. Because as I've said before in another video, if you just buy your photo shoots and autograph tickets and you don't buy an entry ticket and the organisers post it, the event is now sold out, you will not get entry. You will not be able to use any of your photo shoot tickets or your autograph tickets. You will lose all of that money, and there's just no other way about it. So please buy your entry tickets and make sure it's the correct day and all your tickets are for the correct day. Now, A lot of the things I see people ask about online as well is, what is the difference between an autograph ticket and a photo shoot ticket? So with an autograph ticket, you will be in sort of the guest signing hall, and the guests will be sat behind a table and people queue up to meet them. When you get to the front of the table, you pay by cash or by card, cash, and you can choose a photograph. So they'll have a selection of photos normally on display that you're able to choose and then hand to the guest to get signed. Now, sometimes guests will personalise and you can get your own name on it, or you can not have it personalised. If you don't want, you can just have the signature. Personally, I like personalisations because it's mine, it's me, it's my memory. I'm not going to sell my collection. This is mine. But some collectors don't. So when you go up to get your autograph, most of the time you can take a picture that they've already pre-laid out pictures. That is normally the case. If I'm attending a show that I'm not sure about, I've maybe never been to an organiser like this before, if it's a newer show, I will take my own item to get signed. Or if you have something specific that you want to get signed by a guest, or there's a particular scene in a particular movie that you want to get signed, then yeah, I would take your own thing with you. There's no harm in that, but normally you can get a photo picture, a little print, like you can see on the wall behind me, that you can get signed. When you're at the autograph table, this is the time where you can maybe ask a wee quick question or two to the guest. Within reason. Some guests can be extremely busy and you might not be able to chat to them for long at all, and you've got to be respectful of that. Respectful and mindful of the people that are also waiting behind you and of the guests, but you can chat to them. Now is a little bit more of your opportunity to do so. This is where it differs from photo shoots. So when you're attending for a photo shoot, this is a very quick snapshot in time, and it is seconds. So you check the schedules, it tells you online. You can see what area you're supposed to be in and what time a photo shoot is for the guest. You queue up, you wait in the line, you go through, and then when it's your turn, you'll see the guest there, like, oh hi, hello. You go up, quick, couple of seconds, photograph taken, and away you go. There's no chance for talking. There's no mobile phones in here. You can't do a wee selfie. You can't do any of that sort of stuff. It is a quick snapshot in time. It is seconds, but it can still be a nice few seconds. It can be quite personal. You go up and go, hello, hi, nice to see you. Oh, great, thank you, yes. And then away you go. I like them. I like a photo shoot because it's proof and it's memory, and it's something for me that you can look back on and say, oh yeah, I met this guy and they were so cool, and oh, this happened at the photo shoot. Bill Paxton, for example, when I met him, I was wearing my Arwen wig and his ring got caught in my hair, and as we were leaving, he said, oh, you put a spell on me, and whacked my wig off. But so it's nice memories. So that's kind of the difference between photo shoots and autographs. So an autograph, you go to a table, you can pick up a photo there or bring your own thing that you can get signed by the guests, and this is your chance to chat with them. Sometimes you can do a selfie and you can use your phone. You pay extra for that. Some guests don't do selfies. They'll have a sign on the table to tell you. So autograph, signature, time for chatting, get your whatever you want signed. Photo shoots, no time for chatting, seconds, in, out, smile, and away you go. On you get your own little photo print as well that you can take with you. Normally they're printed out at the time instantly. Sometimes I've seen conventions where they email you them later, but normally it's an instant print and you've got something you can just take away with you straight away. And it's great. And that's quite important to have something to store your autographs in, which is why I use my tough case. Better than a Polly Pocket. We're chatting about autographing and photographs, and we alluded about checking time schedules. So the way that we will organise the guests is you'll have them signing at the table, but they'll also have their time where they are away for their photo shoots, and then they'll also have the time when they're away from the desk to get from maybe the panels and chatting at the panels and stuff like that. So if you have multiple photo shoots that you're wanting to do, that is the best time to check on the schedules before you attend, that you can see online. They can post it on the websites of the groups, or they'll post it on the social media pages. times, like the schedules, time schedules. And that's where you'll choose, and you can see who you're going to meet at what point and plan your day out a bit more thoroughly and more effective. What you probably don't want to be doing is, say for example, wanting to meet a guest and you're standing there waiting for them because you haven't checked the schedule, and you then see that, well, actually they've got an hour photo shoot time. So that's time that you could be standing at another guest or waiting to meet another guest or seeing a panel or something like that. So it's good to keep an eye out to make the most of your day and not waste any time. So if you plan to get a lot done, I would try and buy early entry tickets. Most shows do a 9 a.m. entry, sometimes 10 a.m. entry, and then sometimes shows will do an afternoon entry, so there'll be like an 11, 12 o'clock entry. If you want to do a lot, get an early entry ticket because you're maximising the most amount of time you'll have for that day. And as I said in another video as well, it can get quite busy, quite crowded, the shows, especially around lunchtime, especially if they're then letting in the PM slots of tickets. It can get quite big, busy, takes a bit more time to do anything. So if you have a lot of things to do, start early in the day, I would say. You should also be realistic about what you can manage guest-wise. So, for example, you've bought an early entry ticket, so you're coming in at 11, after 11. You want to meet 3 big guests, but you're leaving at 2 to get a train home. Chances are you might not actually make everything you're planning to do. So if you've wanted to buy autograph tickets and you've bought photo shoot tickets, even with pre-booked tickets, you will be queuing and you will be waiting quite some time to see these guests sometimes. So it would be realistic and not to let yourself down, not to feel upset and let down if you don't manage to get everything done. Plan for what you're able to plan. So I would say do not buy photo shoot tickets or autograph tickets if you have not bought entry tickets. Make sure you have bought your entry tickets first before you purchase any other tickets for guests inside the show. Because no, if the show sells out, as I said before, you will not get in and you will waste all of this money. You will waste everything. I really can't stress this enough because I have seen it so many times and it is so unnecessary. And if you are buying tickets online, make sure you buy them through the actual organisation's website, and don't buy from people like on social media pages. There's a lot of scammers out there as well. There is some reputable ticket sales websites where you can, for genuine reasons that you bought tickets, you cannot go and then people will sell their either autograph tickets or photo shoot tickets or entry tickets online. I think Twickets is one of the sites. That is a genuine place, but I would still be extremely wary and be careful of scammers, because again, I've seen people have paid good money for tickets from a scammer on Facebook. No. Only the organiser's website or anything else that the organiser suggests where you can buy tickets that have already been bought. I would say this is a top tip, and it's actually one of my favourite things about going to shows. You're travelling to a con and you're having to stay in a hotel near the venue. The chances are everyone else in that hotel is also going to that convention. And you see them, you see your people, you know who they are. And it can be really quite nice. Hang in the hotel bar, chat, see folk and make friends. And it can be quite nice if you're a solo traveller. You can then maybe bump into people throughout the next few days at the show that you've spent the night with, drinking the night before, and chatting. And it can be quite nice just having a wee friend, a wee person to chat to. I think I've covered most of the things you need to do before you get to the show. So on the day of the convention, grab a good breakfast. My favourite part about conventions is a hotel breakfast. I love a breakfast buffet. You are going to need the fuel. You are going to be on your feet for hours. You don't know when you're next going to get a proper meal. Load up on that bacon and sausage and hash browns and beans and whatever you can get. Toast, fill up with toast. And before you go, pack your bag. Maybe even pack your bag the night before if you've got lots of stuff. So make sure you've got all your tickets, your entry tickets. I like having a paper copy of tickets. You can use your phone if you can download PDFs, or some ticket organising websites have an app that you can use and you just scan the barcode, but I like having a physical ticket. So pack your tickets, pack any water bottles you've got, pack a wee snack, a protein bar or something. Make sure you have cash, bring your cash. Power bank, if you need it. Any special items you want signed, if there's anything particular. Painkillers, and tough case for your autographs and your photo shoots and whatever else you're getting. But once you get to the show, be prepared to queue. So the organisers, they will list opening times. Normally it is 9 AM. I would advise getting there beforehand, before you get into the event. So we tend to queue about an hour before opening times, roughly. It depends what you're up to. It depends why. If you're only going to cosplay, then you don't need to be there at the crack of dawn. If you are going with the sole purpose of, like, I am getting 15 autographs today and I have 12 photo shoots and you've got X, Y and Z things planned, then I would probably go earlier to get the best possible chance. And depending on the event, if there's big guests, they sometimes run what we call a virtual queue system, which I'll chat about a wee bit later, which means actually starting to queue a lot earlier is a pretty good thing. And it'll make sense in a minute. I think I've said it before, wear appropriate clothing for queuing. You'll most likely be queuing outside the venue, and if you're there for a good half an hour beforehand, you never know what the weather's going to bring. We've been in a monsoon, we've been in snow, we've had 35-degree heat, we're standing outside for an hour. Wear good shoes, because you'll need them inside the show as well, for all the walking and standing queuing that you're going to do. So I'd also say, whilst you're waiting outside, either decide before you get to the show or whilst you're waiting to go inside, if you've got like friends have come with you or significant others, chat about what you're planning to do for that day. Decide who you're going to meet and decide who you're intending to meet first of all, so you can have that plan, so you know that when the doors open, you can just go straight to it. Sometimes, for example, my husband and I, we will go to the guests together. If we've got a particular busy convention planned and we really want to squeeze a lot in the one day, we will go our separate ways. We just vanish and we won't see each other for hours because we've got to do our own things. So decide and plan what you're wanting to do. Be realistic again, is what I'm saying. Now, when you enter the venue, sometimes you'll get a wristband. Sometimes you will maybe get a stamp on the hand, either going in or coming out. This will allow you to get in and out of the show as many times as you want to. So for example, say your hotel was just next door, you wanted to pop back for something, maybe a wee rest or whatever might be going on. If you've got your wristband, make sure if you've been beeped in, you got a wristband or you get a hand stamp to be able to get back out and to come back in again. So yeah, normally you can get in and out quite easily, and that's fine. So what I tend to do when we get in the show is I'll do a quick walk around as soon as the doors open, do a wee quick walk around to get the lay of the land, just get a bearing, see where everything is. So I want to know, okay, where are the photo shoot areas that I need to know how to get to? Where are the guest tables? Where are the panels going to be? Where are the bathrooms? Is there a cloakroom? Where's the cloakroom to put things in if you really want to? Now, talking about autographs, I alluded to this earlier, this is where it can get a little bit complicated sometimes, and it's discussing virtual queuing. So, depending on the organisation, everyone does it slightly different. Some organisers, if they've got a bigger guest that they know is going to be super popular, they can do a multitude of different things. For example, showmasters. If they have a super duper popular guest, they will release a separate type of ticket called a diamond pass, and that almost guarantees you your autograph and your photo shoot, like regardless. You have to pay for your entry ticket as well, but a diamond pass is almost a certain guarantee you're going to get your autograph. Once they've done all the diamond pass guests, you get what you call a virtual queuing system. So rather than you stand for 6 hours in the autograph queue for one particular guest, you go up to where the guest is. They normally have a member of staff with a little ticket book. You take a little ticket and that is your virtual queue. I've got a wee example. I was at a show earlier this year and I went to go and meet Bernard Hill, and they were thinking that he was going to be quite a busy guest because he's a legend. It's Bernard Hill, it's King Theoden, what the hell? So he had a virtual queue ticket. So I got inside, got to the desk, and the member of staff gave me my virtual queue. Now I was number 1 in the queue for Bernard Hill. And it was worth it. But that is what a virtual queue ticket looks like. So you get there, you get your ticket number, and then you go away, keep that ticket safe, and then you keep just checking back throughout the day to see what numbers they're up to in their virtual queue. So they'll tend to list it off as tickets number 1 to 20 come up for the virtual queues. Once they've got through those people, they'll do 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, 80 to 100, and that can go on for hundreds of virtual queue tickets. And it is a good way to run. It is better because, as I say, you're not standing there for hours on end. I remember attending the show in 2013 as well, I think, or 14, and to meet Carl Urban. And I stood for 4 hours in the one queue because they didn't have a virtual queue system. They had nothing. You just stood and you waited. It was worth it. I was only there for him and William Shatner, but virtual queues are a good thing. So you keep an eye on, get your ticket if they're doing a virtual queue system, and you keep a wee eye, and just it allows you to go backwards and forwards and do other things in the show. Some other guests don't do virtual queue tickets, so they are an open queue, is what you would call it. Sometimes if they did have a virtual queue with a guest, but they're a lot quicker signing than they thought they would be, or they maybe had as many virtual queue tickets handed out as they thought they may have, they might towards the end of the day or at some point throughout the day open it up to an open queue again. But that's a good thing to keep a wee eye on. For example, as well, so that's autographs with showmasters. Monopoly events that we attend events with as well are fantastic. You can, for bigger guests, so when we met Ewan McGregor, they had time slots that you could book for your photo shoots and for your autographs. So we pre-bought our autographs for Ewan McGregor, and your photo shoots for Ewan McGregor, and you then had to, in a separate link closer towards the event, you had to choose a time slot to actually attend, and it was like different batches, and if you didn't come at your right batch time, you wouldn't get in to see them. And again, it's just another way to sort of safeguarding you're not going to be queuing for hours and hours and hours to meet the guests if you're actually booked into certain slots, and it saves time and it just makes sense. I hope it kind of explains the virtual queuing. If they do that, some organisations don't do virtual queuing and it is just a queue and wait. But virtual queues, if they do it, it will be for a bigger guest. Not all guests have a virtual queue, only bigger guests. And most guests are just an open queue. But virtual queue tickets, you, as I say, go up, as soon as you get in the building, grab your virtual queue tickets for everyone you want and keep those tickets safe, and then use them when your number is called up. And so if you want to meet a lot of guests that are bigger named guests, and they probably will have a virtual queue with them, that is when your queuing time is pretty important, because you will want to be as far towards the front of the queue as you possibly can. So then it means that when the doors open, you can go straight to the autograph tables and you can grab all your virtual queues because you want to get a low number. If you wait and you maybe don't come into the show until 10 o'clock, you might get a virtual queue number of 782. And your chances of being seen are zilch. You're not going to get an autograph. So if that's what you're after, that's how virtual queues are important and how your entry times are important as well. I really hope that made sense, because I think I just rambled a little bit. If you have any questions, please do send me a comment. I'll maybe try and explain it a little bit better. It works. What I would say as well is you're doing all the right things, doing all the autographs, your photo shoots, work your way through your list. We always have a wee list. It's either on my phone and I can tick it off, or if you've got your paper tickets and you can see who you're still to see. When you're doing your photo shoots, if you're keeping a wee eye and working through your list, arrive in good time for your photo shoot. My personal preference is arriving to the earlier shoots. So sometimes organisers will do 2 time slots in a day for the for their guests, a photo shoot time in the morning and a photo shoot time in the afternoon. So this will be to help with any tickets that people have bought that are for the afternoon entry of the shows, or the later entry for the entry of the shows. Entry of the shows. This is just to make sure people don't miss out, but my preference is taking the earlier shoot. And the reason being, it's natural that as the day goes on, if things can fall behind schedule, and then there's delays, and it means that all the other photo shoot times are delayed, and it tends to be towards the end of the day that you notice these delays the most. It's not really a big deal because you normally do always get your photograph taken, but it's just if you maybe had a train to catch or something later on in the day and then your photo shoots were delayed even longer, you might not get it. I always just pretend, but I just prefer getting in the morning. Sometimes you can get a clash. Bigger shows that have more than one photo area, because sometimes it can be split up into areas: photo A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. The sky's the limit. So sometimes it's natural if you've got multiple guests you're wanting to meet that you might have a clash. Now, I'll probably do another video about how you deal with clashes, but it's fine. You just check the schedule and look at the guests that you want to meet and the clash. Say, do they have a shoot maybe later on in the day? Or if it is their only shoot of the day for that one, look and see who's maybe starts first or see who's lasts longest. So, for example, Charlie Hunnam, when we were at a show, this is a rough example, I can't actually remember the names of the guests, but there was a shoot with Charlie Hunnam that we were due to be at 11, and it ran from 11 till 12. But we also had a shoot with Robert DeVee, which started at 11 as well, but was only on till 11:30. Now, they both start at the same time, but Charlie Hunnam had a much longer slot. So even though he was going to be the more popular guest, what my advice would be is I would go for the guests that, even if you start at the same time, go for the one that has the shorter photo shoot time. Because once you've got the guest, for example, once we did Robert DeVee, say that finished at 11:30, we got out at 11:30, between 11:30 and 12, Charlie Hunnam was still running, or that guest is still running. So just it works out fine. And normally the photo areas are beside each other, so you just toddle out of one and walk straight over to the other. It's fine. No panic, it's fine. Fine. When you're inside as well, take some time to explore. Sometimes there's pretty fun photo opportunities. Quite a lot of the shows do have food placed inside. It can be quite busy though. It's maybe a bit limited in your options that you can get for things to eat. But do expect to find people sitting on the floor eating. I'm normally one of them. Sometimes seating can be a little bit of a problem in shows. The chairs break, maybe not enough chairs. I think a lot of organisers realise this is a problem, but they try their best to fix it. Just be prepared. Be prepared is my advice. Be prepared. If you really want to watch some panels, it's great fun. It's also a good opportunity to have a seat if they have any left over. So we quite like doing the panels sometimes if we're not too busy with our photo shoots and autographs. It become quite nice, and if you want you can ask a question, a Q&A. I don't actually know if I've ever done a Q&A question before. I don't think I've asked one. Been to plenty of panels, but they're fab, and it's good you get to hear stories that you maybe not heard of before, or they let you little tidbits of information if they're filming something new. Good fun, they're good fun. Before you leave the show, make sure you've got everything that you want to. Make sure you've done everything that you want to do. We tend to do a wee last sweep around the trader stalls before we leave, so I will either look at the trader stalls first thing in the morning before they get super busy, or last thing in the evening, which is a bit of a risk because they've maybe sold out of a lot of things, but are they packed up for the day? But it is quieter, and I kind of prefer that. So yeah, make sure you just have a wee look around and make sure you've done everything you want to. We then do a little quick scout round the autograph hall to decide, is there anyone left over that we want to meet, or is there anyone that's not about to leave, or there's no queue that we maybe hadn't intended to meet that day, but now there's no queue for them, we could do. Before you leave, just have a good look, have a last wee chat and check. So just relax And once you're done, chat about your day to other congoers, maybe go for dinner with other folk. It's nice if you're in a group of people that you all know each other, and you can sit and you can chat about what your day's been like, who you've met, what autographs you've got, any fun experiences, anything, you know, just nice wee tidbits and things. Or if you're a solo traveller, hotel bar, as I said before in one of the videos, can be a really good way to know and meet people, and you recognise people, and you can just chat and share photographs, share experiences. It's good, it's nice fun, and just take time to look at everything you've done, look at everything you've bought, and just really try and remember it so you don't forget. So I think that's probably a good first step to planning a day at Comic-Con. That's most of the things that we do. I think I've covered all the points. Sorry if this has been a bit of a longer video than I first intended it to be. If you have any questions, please do pop a wee comment down below. I will try my best to answer, give any advice, and yeah, hopefully we'll see you around soon. Might see you at a show, might see you at cons. We've got quite a few lined up this year already, and already planning for 2024 too. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.